The inside of your campervan's rear doors are a great place to store items you need easy access to from outside, which is why there are plenty of what I describe as rear door card pocket panels available. But can I make a more versatile option using military technology? Hi, it's Dave T here, and since we purchased our campervan last year, I've been on a mission to make it as organised and as efficient as possible for storing items. I've been looking for quite a while at options for storing smaller items I frequently need access to, such as hose adapters, pegs, barbecue hoses, tools and so on. The inside of the rear door is a perfect place for these types of items since it's accessible from the outside and naturally moves itself out of the way when accessing the garage. There are several companies offering rear door cards with additional storage pockets and pouches, but whenever I've looked at them, I've struggled to find one that would store the items that I want to store right now, and perhaps more importantly, at some point in the future. That is where some military technology called MOLLE, which stands for Modular Lightweight Load Carrying Equipment, could be the solution. This uses standardised rows of webbing stitched to things like backpacks to enable other pouches and accessories to then be attached to the main bag. There is a wide range of MOLLE compatible bags, pouches and holders, making the system infinitely configurable. So a MOLLE compatible rear door card is a great way to create the perfect storage system for your needs, which can then adapt as your needs change. Now you can buy laser cut aluminium MOLLE door cards online for about £80 each, but I do enjoy a challenge, so decided to make my own. If nothing else, it's a perfect excuse for a build video. So we're now 2 weeks into our trip through Europe, so I had a chance to make use of the MOLLE rack. And how's it worked out? Well, actually really well. Basically, having things or certain things here in this area where the door opens at the back is really convenient. So for example, up here I've got a pouch which has things like all kind of water related. So we tend to put Steri-tabs in the water when we fill up with water. So we've got those in there, adapters for hoses, stuff like that. That's all in that pack there, which basically means when we come to fill up with water, open the door, pull the hose out. If we need an adapter, it's there. It's great. Same sort of thing down here. This is the barbecue hose. So when we set up the barbecue, before this was in a cupboard at the back, it was a pain to get out. And you might say, well, don't put it in the cupboard at the back. But the problem then is it's then laying around in the general garage. Now it's curled up in a pack here, unzip, pull it out, and it's there straight to hand. So easy to use. Got a fire extinguisher here. We use peggy pegs, so you need a drill for peggy pegs. I've got a drill and stuff in here. This one sounds like a daft thing, but shopping bags. So we've got shopping bags in here. So if we stop at the grocery store or supermarket or something to get some food, and it's always the same way, so I'll wear the bags. So put them in there, and it's easy to just grab a bag before we go in, and that's all nice and organised. So overall, it's worked well. What would I change? So for a start, the way I fixed these was each bar was drilled. So there's 10 bars and 12 uprights, or the other way around. So that's 120 holes to drill, which is not the end of the world. But then I decided, like a bit of an idiot, to actually tap them. So there's an M3 tap to put a thread on them, and then the bolts come through from the other side. So that meant that basically I had to then tap 120 holes, which again, it only takes a minute or so per hole, but it does chew up a few hours, and it gets your wrist quite bad doing that sort of thing. Equally then, I was screwing through from the back with a bolt. What I would do in future would be just to get some flattish, probably not even countersunk, just some flathead screws, and screw them through from this side, possibly with a slightly thicker backboard, and then where the screws stick out, so standard just wood screws, I would then ground them off at the back, just so we didn't have a whole lot of spikes there. Because actually having little screw heads on this side wouldn't really cause the problem. I wanted to keep it as flush as possible, but I think I was over-engineering it, and it took a lot of time to do that. Also, I 3D printed the brackets. Don't have to do that. If you look on Amazon, you can buy like little plastic tubes as spacers, and I gave it about, I think I'll put it on the screen, but I think I gave it about an 8mm gap behind. So again, that would have made lining everything up much easier. Other than that though, with mine, you don't have to do this, but with mine, I obviously made this whole panel swing out on a piano hinge. That's given us those two little pockets at the back, which actually I don't think anything's in there at the moment, but once we find something that's not often used, but we want slightly easier access to, then we'll put that behind there. It's definitely not a place to use to smuggle stuff through customs. Fire extinguisher here, a few tools and bits and bobs in there. But yeah, it's nice and organised. I like the look of it. There's loads of these different MOLLE bags that you can buy. So you can buy those. So anyway, I think the site owner is coming now. So I'll wrap up here. I hope you found this video helpful or interesting. If you have, then please do hit the like button. And if you're interested in seeing other videos I make, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. But most of all, thanks for watching.